These policy interventions have resulted in domestic gas accounting for about 82% of Ghana's thermal requirement and 40% of domestic LPG supply. So it means that in Ghana, almost 80% of all electricity is generated using liquid natural gas. The other 20% continues to rely on fossil fuels. So the plan going forward is to be able to cover the total generation with liquid natural gas 100% before the year 2030. The decision to switch to gas as an alternative to light crude oil has undoubtedly resulted in increased fuel supply and reliability and significant cost savings for the country. For instance, in 2022, 107.65 billion scarf of gas was exported from Ghana's oil-producing fields for power generation and industrial consumption. This is equivalent to 20.45 million barrels of crude oil. And so if we're not using natural gas, we would have had to buy 20.45 million barrels of light crude oil to generate electricity. The cumulative savings from switching from light crude to gas is estimated at 1.34 billion. It means that if Ghana was continuing to use light crude oil instead of natural gas, we would have had to spend $1.54 billion over the period. As a result of these policy decisions, which undeniably has not been an easy journey, it may interest you to know that Ghana currently has enough dependable generation capacity at 5,454 megawatts. And so the current doomsday that we're going through is not because we don't have the generating capacity, it's because we don't have enough fuel to be able to meet the demand. And so current generation capacity stands at 5,454 megawatts both for domestic consumption, and Ghana currently exports power to neighboring Togo, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, and Benin within the framework of ECOWAS cooperation. I'll touch a bit on the West African power pool in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, on the local front, an aggressive rural electrification policy launched in 2009 increased electricity access rates in Ghana from 60.8% to over 80% in 8 years. The solid foundation we laid has resulted in an impressive 88.5% current access rate. It means that 88.5% of Ghanaians have access to electric power. And Ghana is on course to achieve universal access to electricity at the target date. Policy reforms have equally been at the center stage of our energy sector, with power sector reform dating back to the early 1990s by the Ghanaian government, resulting in the creation of an Energy Commission in 1997 as a technical regulator of electricity, natural gas, and renewable energy industries. And also the formation of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission in the same year provides guidelines for tariffs and charges on public utility services, especially water and electricity. More importantly, we have unbundled the vertically integrated Volta River Authority, and I'm sure you would have heard about this. They are the managers of the Akasombo hydroelectric power station. But they also controlled the national electric grid. And so we unbundled it and made them concentrate on power generation. And then we formed Gridco, which is responsible for all the transmission lines in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, despite the remarkable success chalked over the years, increasing demand for electricity to satisfy domestic use and export, and gas supply constraints is beginning to pose significant challenges, threatening the nation's power supply reliability as demand continues to increase. It's estimated that demand increases between 10 and 12% every year. And so it means that you must always plan ahead, both in terms of having access to enough fuel and also putting in the generation capacity to be able to meet that demand. Since the beginning of the year, power supply reliability has been erratic, largely due to the inability of the current government to to expand and increase the gas infrastructure to meet the rising demand. This therefore calls for very serious policy rethinking if we are to resolve this current challenge. And that's why the compare said that Doomsday is back. This year we'll be suffering a lot of power outages in Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, with the 2024 elections around the corner, my party has proposed to declare 2025 as an accelerated age of oil and gas production should we win the elections. Natural gas will be the central area of focus for us. For our future, private partners such as the Chamber of Upstream Producers of Ghana have already declared their commitment to invest in natural gas exploration and production with the needed government support. Let me use this opportunity to invite potential investors in Nigeria. When it comes to oil and gas production, you are big brothers, and I know you have more expertise than us. And so I use this occasion to invite potential investors from Nigeria to invest in Ghana's hydrocarbon potential. Let me also commend Nigeria for its leadership in the implementation of the West African Gas Pipeline Company, WAPCO, which has played a critical role in Ghana's energy future. Following on the success of the West African Gas Pipeline Company model, I firmly believe that we can replicate the model in the downstream petroleum sector for our mutual benefit. The future of Sub-Saharan African development greatly depends on the success story of Nigeria's energy sector. I wish to call on Nigeria to lead the politics of energy resources in Africa. On this note, there is an urgent need for Ghana and Nigeria to deepen our economic and technical cooperation in harnessing and developing our energy resource potential for energy security and reliability as a catalyst for industrialization, job creation, and equitable wealth distribution for the entire West African sub-region. The establishment of the West African Power Pool, which I talked about just a while ago, the wholesale market presents an excellent opportunity for energy integration in West Africa. Ghana has already constructed a high-voltage electricity transmission network that connects us to Togo, Benin, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Cote d'Ivoire. So it makes it possible for us to evacuate excess power into the grid for export to any of these countries. The critical step left is the synchronization of the entire West African Power Pool interconnected transmission system, which includes a link with the Nigerian system, and also a connection to Niger and the northern parts of Togo and Benin. This will undoubtedly create a great opportunity for ECOWAS countries, especially notably Nigeria, because Nigeria has the potential to have excess power that it can put into the West African Power Pool for use by other countries that have a deficit. So notably, Nigeria with vast resources and available generation capacity to trade in the regional electricity markets will be an advantage for our sub-region. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, with our rich historical ties, the two countries of Ghana and Nigeria must urgently lead the process of realizing a fully liberalized and interconnected energy market in West Africa, to which energy sources, especially gas and electricity, can be easily traded amongst ourselves. Finally, the energy sector is the foundation for economic growth. Nigeria must take the leadership mantle to build a regional consensus that will provide a more promising future for Africa. African leaders must define their energy transition modalities and choose the most equitable, just transition. Nigeria has what it takes to lead the path for sub-Saharan Africa to advance our collective energy agenda by engaging its neighbors, such as Ghana, to achieve the delivery of reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy for the whole sub-region. I thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.